Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from our studios here at Kokomlemle in Accra on digital address GA0993341. It's broadcasting live on Joy 99.7 FM, also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by Telesol 4G, proudly Ghanaian. Telesol, Just a Touch, UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, Digibank, Let's Go, and Mark Auto Parts Ghana, distributors of Isuzu and Chevy vehicles. Mark Auto Parts Ghana with you for the long run. Coming up, Energy Minister fights off claims government is doing little to reduce prices of petroleum products as he argues prices would have been higher than current prices.
The price we are paying today, if the Mahama-led administration is still in force, you will be paying between 9 to 10% higher than the current prices that Ghanaians are paying. I think in time we give this government the recognition for caring for the people of this country.
We'll get a reaction from the former administration, horrifying details about how at least 3 children are defiled every day in Ghana. We'll hear from the new gender minister on how she plans to eradicate the menace.
We don't even have shelters where we keep the children when they are defiled. So they go back to the same people, the same relatives that molest them. So we'll look at that, where to keep the children after they have reported.
Immigration Service picks up 90 foreign nationals, all female, for engaging in what it describes as illegal activities. We also have the story of a self-trained teacher making a difference in his community, imparting knowledge to children from poor homes for free.
When I see them on the beach, I feel sad because sometimes ago I was like them.
And for the latest in sports.
Now, government has confirmed the country will host the 2018 Africa Women's Cup of Nations ahead of CAF's announcement on the 27th and 28th after executive committee meeting in Egypt.
And the wait is over. All is set for the 2018 Joy News Western World Properties Habitat Fair. We have a report capturing what you can do to prevent robberies. I am Emefa Apau. Details shortly. And in our very first story, Energy Minister John Peter Amewu has fought off claims government is doing little to reduce prices of petroleum products. Government came under criticism from civil society groups and the public when fuel prices went up by 3.5%, crossing the dreaded 5 Ghana cedi mark. But Mr. Amewu, who's been addressing a news conference a while ago, argues consumers have been paying more, but for government prudent policies.
Due to government tax interventions and the current prices of both petrol and diesels are selling currently at 5 cedis, 12 pesos per liter. The prices for the previous window was 4 cedis, 90 pesos per liter for petrol and 4 cedis, 94 pesos for diesel. This represents a change in price from the previous window by 4.49% for petrol and 3.64% for diesel. Without government intervention, as I've stated earlier, prices today would have been 5.54 per liter for petrol and 5.55 per liter for diesel. So what means is that the price we are paying today, if the Mahama-led administration is still in force, you will be paying quite close to between 9 to 10% higher than the current prices that Ghanaians are paying. I think in time we give this government the recognition for caring for the people of the country.
Energy Minister John Peter Amewu, my colleague Raymond Akwa was at that press conference and joins me in studio for more on this. So Raymond, what evidence does the minister point to support his claim that would have been paying more?
First, he takes on the interventions of government specifically targeted at reducing the price of fuel. He says the government has removed excise duty on fuel, reduction of also special petroleum tax from 17.5% to 13%, and this happened on 2 different occasions. He also mentioned that there's conversion of the special petroleum tax from an ad valorem to a specific tax, and this happened somewhere on the 16th of February 2018. Indeed, he also makes reference to the reduction in the price stabilization and recovery levies from the 1st of December 2017. And it says that currently, they reduced it. It used to be 12 per liter to 0 for petrol. But it's been reduced to 10 per liter to 0 for petrol. And also, when it comes to diesel, it was 10 per kilogram to 3 per kilogram. And these are the interventions that have affected the changes that we're seeing today in the price differences. He also makes the point that petrol would have gone up by 13%.
13%.
And diesel would have gone up by 12%, but for the interventions that government put in place.
Let's dwell a bit more on the special petroleum tax. It's become topical. We all know that. Did he say whether they are going to consider scrapping it? Did he say? His
deputy in charge of that particular sector was one who responded to that question. His answer is that, well, government is considering it. It's not the first time government has removed taxes on fuel products. Government is considering this proposal, among other proposals, to make sure that the burden of the fuel price on Ghanaians are lessened.
We have reduced the total tax component in the petroleum product pricing from 40% in March 2017 to date, 26%. That is how a responsible government can generate revenue through taxes on petroleum product prices without enduring the Ghanaian, the welfare of the Ghanaian. And so, as far as the SPT is concerned, the Ministry of Finance, together with the Ministry of Energy, are reviewing it. We already have gone down from 17.5% to 13%. And as the Minister also said, we have converted it from ad valorem to specific tax. What this means is that it is now fixed. So if crude oil prices go up, the component of the SPT will stay the same.
Now, Raymond, let's quickly talk about the power purchase agreements that government wants to terminate. How many are we looking at?
So the John Mahama government actually signed 30 PPAs for ECG alone. And in this case, 26 of them have been reviewed. The other 4 were not reviewed was because they were still ongoing. The process is pretty clear. 8 of them are to proceed without any change. 4 with a combined capacity of 1,800 are be deferred 2018 to 2025. Now, 3 PPAs are also be deferred to 2015 beyond that period. The last one, 11 of these PPAs have been terminated. And this is some capacity of 2,808.
The contract simple means that whether you consume that power or not, you will have to pay. And as you see here today, the government led by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government is paying quite close to $15 million every single month as a result of these reckless PPAs that have been signed and led by Mahama-led administration. This is the rationale for some high element of tariff that we are paying. If the excess capacity is taken out from your tariff, you will be paying far less than what Ghanaians are enjoying today. The review recommended the following. 8 PPAs with combined capacity of 2,070 are to proceed without modification. 4 PPAs with combined capacity of 1,800 be deferred to 2018, between 2018 and 2025. 3 PPAs with a combined capacity of 1,150 megawatts be deferred beyond 2025. And 11 PPAs with a combined capacity of 2,800 megawatts be terminated. As a result of the review exercise, government stands to make significant savings from the deferment or the terminations of the review of the PPAs.
So then that's Energy Minister John Peter May. We'll get a reaction shortly from Mr. John Jinapo. He worked in the Mahama administration at the Energy Ministry. But quickly, Raymond, briefly tell us, we understand he has some concerns about the state of BOST as well.
Yes, it says government established a presidential committee to look into BOST. What they found was massive transactions which are in the wrong direction, financial indiscipline and recklessness. In fact, he says this were to be responsible for the state of BOST's finances, which are in a very terrible state. It says a review is currently undergoing.
Government of Ghana, under His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has decided that given the extent of financial recklessness found by the committee, an audit will be commissioned into the BOST operations between 2013 to 2018. This will ensure that persons against whom adverse findings will be made will, of course, face the full rigors of the law. The audit will also provide recommendations for restructuring of BOST management, operations, and financial management. Full details of the findings are expected to be received by the end of October, as the board informed in the statement yesterday.
Let's get on the phone lines now. Like I said, we have John Jinapo joining us on the Midday News. Thank you very much for your time, John. But we have two main issues that we would like to touch on quickly: power and fuel prices, as addressed by the Energy Minister. But let's start with power, because according to the Minister, all you did was to sign, to use his words, reckless agreement. How did that happen?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, let me make it clear that the minority side in Parliament will be responding fully to the issues raised by the Minister. And so these are just preliminary comments. I have listened to snippets and tidbits of what the Minister said, and my firm conclusion is that the Minister doesn't understand his job. I think that Mr. Mewu needs some orientation, he needs some pupillage, he needs some tutelage, and he ought to understand that sector very well. He says that government is saving money that you ought to have been paying every month. In the power sector, under a take-or-pay agreement, until you declare availability, that is to say, until the power is installed, commissioned, and ready for consumption. Once you don't get it, then you pay the capacity charges. Most of these PPAs is talking about have elapsed their time. If I sign a PPA with you, and I say that I expect you to come in 3 years, and I grant you a take-or-pay agreement, and the 3 years you default, and you are enabled to declare that power available, it goes to say that you have defaulted. And so Mr. Mewu doesn't even understand what he's talking about. Number two, if he claims that we have so much power that we don't even need extra power, why do you want to double the car power agreement? Why do you want to double the AXA agreement? Why do you want to double the Ameri agreement in terms of the tenure? When you have too much in your room that you can't accommodate, do you double the capacity that you want? It is quite obvious that the Minister doesn't understand what he's doing. I think that he ought to be a bit circumspect. He ought to sit down and learn from that. Okay. The petroleum side.
But so let's move on to fuel prices also. He raised concerns about, you know, that the minority had raised concerns about the special petroleum tax, asking that it is scrapped entirely. But he says that, but for government intervention, would have been paying more in terms of fuel prices. You agree?
Once again, Amewu clearly exhibits his lack of incompetence of that sector. Look, you have superintended over a depreciation of the cedi by about 20%, which has culminated in fuel price increases. Ghanaians are lamenting, Ghanaians are crying, and your excuse is that, but for you, it should have increased more than even what we are witnessing. You are telling us that fuel prices increased because the currency is not doing well under your watch. Instead of you to cushion Ghanaians, you are telling Ghanaians that, look, they should rather praise you.
But there's a cushioning. There's a cushioning, he says. The special petroleum tax, for instance, has been reduced from 17 to 13% on 2 different occasions.
Let me quickly educate him. When fuel prices are very low in the world market, you put a tax element on it because you need to raise revenue. But when fuel price increases, go and read the 2018 budget. The benchmark price was $57 per barrel. Today, as I speak to you, the benchmark price is about $77, meaning that Ghana is getting extra $20 on every single barrel that we export. That is additional revenue coming into the country. And so when we say that you are getting additional revenue beyond what you anticipated, and so you can use that to cushion Ghanaians, it is grounded with facts. And I'm surprised that Amewu cannot even see these simple things as a whole minister superintending over a ministry like the Ministry of Energy. I find this very outrageous, and I find the minister's posture extremely insulting to the people of Ghana.
Mr. Jinapo, we'll leave it here, of course, so we'll get to delve deeper into this in our subsequent bulletins. Thank you very much for your time. That's John Jinapo there. Now, away from power and fuel issues, at least 3 children were defiled daily in Ghana in the years 2015, 2016, and 2017. The figures were contained in the 2017 Criminal Investigations Department Annual Crime Statistics Report. Gender Minister Designate Cynthia Morrison is attributing the menace to fear, poverty, and lack of education. She says her outfit is working to make some shelter for defiled children fully functional to create a safer space for them. Maxwell Agbagba has more in this report.
According to the 2017 Criminal Investigations Department Annual Crime Statistics, 1,630 cases of sexually abused children were reported in 2015 alone. In 2016, 1,341 were reported. In 2017, 1,685 cases of children who were defiled were reported. It is instructive to note that these figures exclude rape. Greater Accra led as the region with the highest number of cases of sexually abused during the period. Executive Director of the Human Rights Advocacy Center, Cynthia Nimo Apredu, says the victims could be more as a lot of defilement cases go unreported.
In truth, these figures may not even be the actual representation of what happens. Some people do not report. Okay, so these figures are not even the true representation. There are other sociocultural factors. There's stigma. The people who do these things are very closely related to the victims, and so you find that they have a difficulty in reporting. And so that is probably the first challenge. So to curb that challenge, we have to go out and educate people. We need to sensitize. We need to go into the schools.
Speaking on the Super Morning Show, the director of the Center for Juvenile Delinquency, Dennis Ajay Numo, called for a special fund to support children who are defiled.
If you do not have money, the way the system has been structured, you cannot get justice. We can decide that we are going for an element of a social purpose, taxation or a special dedication based on law, so that appropriation bill, whenever it's passed, would designate that an amount of 0.01 of the consolidated fund should be designated for child victims, so that there is a victim support fund in which there is money put in the fund. Otherwise, if we put them in the general category of consolidated fund, every year the government will say there is no money.
Gender Minister Designate Cynthia Mamley Morrison says her outfit is working to get some shelters for defiled children fully functional.
The first person I called was my director, and she also confirmed that it is on the increase. So we have to create awareness. We have to work with the school, head teachers. We don't have counselors in all. We don't even have shelters where we keep the children when they are defiled. So they go back to the same people, the same relatives that molest them. So we look at that, where to keep the children after they have reported. We already have some shelters, we have some homes. So all we have to do is identify the number of homes that we have.
Children who are defiled are left with psychological trauma, bruised for life, as the innocence of these children is lost to the libido of men who are sometimes old enough to be their fathers. It is important for a safe net to be created to protect them. Also, the laws must be made to bite hard enough to deter others.
Maxwell Agbagba's report. Then our senior matron of the Ghana Senior High School in Koforidua and the driver of the school have been convicted by the Koforidua Circuit Court to a fine of 17,600 Ghana cedis. Correspondent Kofi Siao joins us on the line. Kofi Siao, what are the details?
Okay, so the matron, Comfort Bruce, was last year arrested together with the driver of Ghana Education Service by a security man in the school. He's by name Kofi Kanjaga. So the two were put before court and granted bail of 60,000 Ghana cedis sometime last year. The prosecutor of the case, Assistant State Attorney Destin Donko, told the court the accused person attempted to smuggle quantities of the food items from the school with a pickup vehicle belonging to the Regional Education Service to an unknown destination. The security man, upon a tip-off, however, arrested the two and handed them over to the police for prosecution.
You have correspondent Kofi Siao. Now, about 30 illegal sawmills have been destroyed by a joint forestry and military task force in a crackdown on chainsaw operators in forest reserves in the western region. A huge quantity of sawn timber has been impounded and 4 chainsaw operators arrested in an exercise codenamed Operation Halt in areas including the Tano, Soyen and Moro forest reserves. About 140 soldiers aided by 2 helicopters are undertaking the operation. Correspondent Ohimin Teria joins us on the line with more on this. So, Heming, tell us more about this operation. Hello, Heming.
Hello, MFA.
Provide more details about this operation.
Thank you, MFA. A team of 140 military officers supported by officials of the Forestry Commission have been working in some forest reserves in the western region. They are operating currently at the Sui, and then Tano, Sushen, Bia, among other forest reserves, where activities of illegal chainsaw operators and also illegal sawmills have sprung up at the fringes of the forest, have become so rampant to the extent that forestry officials are being attacked by these miscreants. So the military and then the forestry task force have been working mid through air and then on the ground to ensure that the arrest some recalcitrant illegal chainsaw operators and then the illegal sawmill shops.
Ohiming Teria there, you're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Still to come, we have the story of a self-trained teacher making a difference in his community, imparting knowledge to children from poor homes for free.
When I see them on the beach, I feel sad because sometimes ago, I was like them.
And the wait is over. All is set for the 2018 Joy News Western World Properties Habitat Fair. We have a report capturing what you can do to prevent robberies. We are right back after the break.
That is the sweet sound of excellence. That is the sound from Mack. Yes, Mack Ghana is the #1 distributor of the world's best quality Isuzu and Chevrolet vehicles in Ghana. Isuzu trucks from 1.5 tons to heavy-duty vehicles. Isuzu buses from 15 to 33 seaters, double and single cabin pickup, available in automatic and manual transmissions. We also stock a wide range of Chevy cars, from SUVs, sedans, and small cars, fully loaded with exquisite specifications. All our range of vehicles stand out due to its high fuel efficiency, safety, luxury, spacious interior, world-class delivery, and after-sales servicing. What's more, we offer flexible payment terms to meet your pocket. Mack Ghana is a sole distributor for Isuzu trucks and pickups, as well as all range of Chevrolet cars in Ghana. Call us on 0302-813-919 in Accra or 0242-039-550 in Kumasi. Visit our website MackGhana.com. Mack Ghana, with you for the long run.
You're welcome back. Time now for sports. Ridwan.
Yes, MFA now. Government says the country will still host the 2018 Africa Cup of Nations. That's my doubts about the country's readiness and to host the rest of the women's game, which is the flagship program for women's football on the continent. CAF has announced that it will finally take a decision on the host for the tournament, and that's on the 27th and 28th at its executive committee meeting. But today at a press conference, we understand that the Deputy Minister of Sports designates, that's Perio Kujetu, has been talking on the matter. And Baba Tando is at the Accra Sports Stadium. That's the Youth and Sports Ministry press conference, and she joins us on the line now. Baba, you know, what exactly did Perio Kujetu say on Ghana's hosting rights?
Greater Accra Organizing Committee, you know, Accra and Cape Coast will be hosting the 2018 Women's AFCON for Ghana. So what exactly the Deputy Youth and Sports Minister, Honorable Perio Kujetu, said that was that Ghana has the full backing of the Confederation of African Football to host the Total Africa Women's Championship. No official communication has come from their side, that's from the side of CAF, suggesting that the tournament hosting rights have been taken away from Ghana. So as it stands, Ghana is hosting the Women's AFCON 2018. Now, let me quickly take you through the 11 members who were inaugurated as the venue organizing committee for Accra. So we have representatives from government in the person of Madam Elizabeth Saki. She's the Deputy Greater Accra Minister. We have the security services, that's the Ghana Police Service. We have representatives from the Accra Metropolitan Authority. And we also have representatives from the National Sports Authority and also from the media and the Regional Coordinating Council. So 11 people have been put together, 5 women, 6 men, to form the Accra Venue Organizing Committee, and they will see to the coordination of all affairs,
you know, in the capital. So we've got the Women's Africa Cup of Nations coming up. That's in November and December, and the LOC, that's the venue committee for Accra, launch. Details will be following soon, MFA.
That's your sports. Now, he spent most of his childhood days assisting fishermen at the shore to earn some money to feed himself. This was at the time his age mates were in class learning rhymes, alphabets and numbers, a typical scenario in most fishing communities here in Ghana. Now, to change the narrative, Sharak Ashie moves from house to house daily to pick children of school-going age to Jamestown Wekabi School of Creative Arts and Culture to afford them the opportunity he missed. For Joy News Agenda, here's MFA Atiamwa Eli with a report aimed at promoting right age enrollment.
Beyond that personal resolve of ensuring his children do not go through same experience, Shadrach is currently making a difference in the lives of the children in his community. Jamestown Bekebi School of Creative Arts and Culture is where Shadrach and another friend attract the children in this area for school.
Good morning, class.
Good morning, sir.
Today we are going to learn the letter sounds. Everybody say letter sounds.
Letter sounds.
Shadrach grew up in this community. He said as a child, he spent most of his time loitering at the beach daily just to make ends meet.
When I see them on the beach, I feel sad because some time ago, I was like them. The way I find myself before getting something to eat is very, very difficult for me. So I also don't want to allow them to also pass through that level.
Now, on Tech Thursday today, Kwesi Deborah takes a look at the benefits of elephant grass to humans. He speaks with Esther Asempa Echiao of the Chemistry Department of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
Elephant grass, also known as napier grass, is valuable to African landscapes as it prevents soil erosion. It can also serve as windbreak and firebird. The fresh shoots and leaves are used to prepare soup and stew, as well as medicine for healing wounds and treating measles and headache. However, its efficacy has scientifically not been proven. Esther's work, supervised by Dr. Lawrence Bokwe, set out to investigate the antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties of the elephant and bahia grass. They were amazed at the results when they compared it to vitamin C, a known antioxidant.
The result I found was very consistent with the standard grass.
Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Deborah.
Now, farming activities have been identified as a major contributor to global warming and climate change, thereby endangering the environment. On his farm in the Upper West region, agribusiness entrepreneur Conrad Balig has adopted climate-smart technologies to ensure his farming activities don't contribute further to climate change. Joseph Opoku Gakpo went to meet him for our Joy News special series on climate change being done in collaboration with the Ghana Climate Innovation Center.
Agricultural activities, including the clearing of forests, the application of chemicals, tillage, misuse of water, among others, are responsible for about 14 to 18% of all causes of global warming. On his farm, Conrad works to reduce that negative impact.
We are on our farm. Nobody will be here to see what we do. But they have given us the sense of being responsible and being accountable.
Moving water from the black volta onto the farm requires energy. The most common source of power for irrigation is generators, which burn fossil fuel, thereby increasing the Earth's temperature. Smoke they emit also pollutes the atmosphere, causing damage to humans and other living organisms. Renewable energy like solar power, however, does not emit carbon dioxide at all. So Conrad has deliberately shifted the power source on his farm from fossil to solar.
Excerpts there from our documentary on climate change. Throughout this week, Joy News will bring you more of such stories on how GCIC is inspiring the adoption of climate-smart technologies across various business spheres. Now, with the recent cases of armed robbery, security in the home has become an important issue everyone wants to pay attention to. As we get ready for the Joy News Habitat Fair this weekend, we ask how you're ensuring your home is secure so you don't become a victim of robbery. Here's Country Manager of Superlock Technologies, a home security company, Ebenezer Bediako Kwabi, with some advice.
Our security door is made of a galvanized steel, which will not rust, which will not corrode, and it comes with a galvanized steel frame. It has 7 to 8 locking bolts, which locks around the door perimeter. It also comes with 5 sets of keys with a coded card, so that nobody can duplicate the key. Even with us, if you misplace the card and we can't duplicate the key for you unless you come with a coded card.
It's happening this weekend. It's starting from tomorrow. It's a long weekend. Providence Event Center for the Joy News Western World Properties Habitat Fair. And what are you talking about on social media? Maps has it.
All right. So people are talking about Liberia, and it's trending on Twitter because according to Liberian officials, newly printed money vanished as it was being transported to the central bank. Now, Twitter obviously couldn't let this go. At cool_der says, so Liberia has lost a container full of new banknotes worth $60 million. Africa, my Africa. And this one is from Ed Isaac Gibbon, who says, folks, is this a joke? Interestingly, this will cause economic crisis in Liberia. But fortunately, Liberian Information Minister Lynn Eugene Nagbe says this government will leave no stone unturned to find those responsible for this act.
So it was airplanes in Nigeria, now container load of money in Liberia. Nothing surprises me anymore. That's it for the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Memefa Pau. Thanks for your company.